My name is Matt Hauser. My pronouns are he, him, and I have been an Omnidian for 7.5 years. My starting title at the org was Residential Solar Operations Associate. Very long title. I started on Team Love. I was tasked with answering kind of our phone line for homeowners with residential solar, looking at kind of basic system performance, and really just kind of learning the ropes of residential solar. What are the pain points of customers, and also kind of the first steps of understanding our technology and how important solar performance is and how much of a need there is for education to the consumer. After kind of the residential side of operations, I shifted over to kind of more of a client-facing role. So I was on the portfolio operations team, where I kind of learned about advocating for the client experience and how to externally communicate and developing processes. And after a little bit of time in that role, I actually had an opportunity to shift over to sales. So I started as a sales analyst, supporting our executives with really anything that was required in the sales process. And that was where, I got to learn a lot about the industry, right? Because once you get into sales, you're selling externally, right? And so to me, that was a really exciting time, because it just made the world of solar a lot bigger for me, because of the different organizations we'd interact with, different events we would go to, and just being more synced in the industry. And so after some time as an analyst, I moved into a sales manager role, where I started to sell directly to clients and owned accounts and account management. And then I shifted into a sales director role, which I've been in for almost for the past 3 years, where I've led prospecting large new clients and overseeing tier 1 accounts and the expansion of those accounts through service delivery. Not only did I have an opportunity to go from operations to sales, but I also had an opportunity to go from residential to commercial, which was really exciting because it was something new. And, some of the problems that we were solving in residential didn't really spark my curiosity, whereas some of those problems that did spark my curiosity were more prevalent in commercial. So to me, I feel like I've had 2 different careers at the organization. To be kind of frank, I took the advice of those around me. I had folks around me who kind of pushed me to explore new roles and to go into new teams, because they saw something that I didn't, maybe wasn't very apparent to me that I saw in myself, because it was kind of a blind spot for me. But after thinking through it, I trusted my gut, and kind of my gut was telling me that shifting teams and going from operations to sales was actually more aligned with my skills and my interests. And, having more time to think about it, the leaders in those respective teams were ones that, that I saw that had skills and, the abilities that I was striving for. And so that was where I wanted to be professionally. So it was a combination of both just getting the encouragement and of those around me who saw that, and then also self-realization over time. I have been fortunate to have a lot of great managers through the years that honestly have had a variety of different skill sets. Folks that maybe are a little bit more analytical, managers who thrive in communicating, and others who are more technical and know the industry. And so, I feel really blessed to be able to have that variety. And, I just try and pick apart those attributes and try to apply them to my work. As I shifted from operations to sales, I was provided with training opportunities, both formal and informal, which were a catalyst for the transition and some of those core learnings and methodologies are things that I still take with me into the sales process today, things that I lean on to understand where our deals are at any given time. Yeah, I think ultimately when it comes to growth opportunities, there's also, not only is it taking the shape, the form of like roles and training, but also just functions or within a role, right? Opportunities to speak at events, on panels, opportunities to lead major accounts. And I learned by doing. So having the opportunity to do things and to try and to learn from them within a role has been just paramount in my development. There's a couple things that come to mind. I think the first one is to just put your ego aside and listen to someone else's advice. As I made a transition from operations to sales, I leaned on there was folks that nudged me towards that, and I trusted them with that. And had I not, I wouldn't probably be in the position I am today within the organization. And sometimes we all have blinders on where we are. Some of us within kind of with our own self-realization, and it's important to listen to those, especially those who have a lot of experience and can see maybe things that you don't. Another thing that's really important that I've learned is just don't reinvent the wheel. I try and emulate a lot of the great qualities of folks that I work with. I think every day within our work, we can observe great qualities in how folks communicate, how folks draft and respond to emails, or respond to client requests or difficult situations, how we store information in our database, right? How we draft proposals, little things in between. And it's important to know that, a lot of the problems that you're facing today, somebody has probably solved them in one shape, way, or form. And so, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole and try and create a custom solution to everything. But you should always lean on what is the precedent that has been done before. I think kind of the last thing that I've learned in my career is just around taking accountability. And accountability happens at a lot of different levels. You can take accountability in the way that you ask for help, and take accountability in how you are seeking out and truly doing the work to find the correct answer, how you structure your days, your weeks, how you take accountability from a strategic level, how you, quite frankly, how you structure your years, right? And your overall goals. And so I've learned that, that taking accountability happens at a lot of different moments. People will see that and want to emulate it themselves. And so it can kind of create a culture, even in a smaller environment, of getting things done. I think probably the biggest quality that gets awarded is taking initiative. There's a lot of problems we're trying to solve within the organization, so there's no shortage of that. And those who take initiative, we gravitate towards them and lean on them to drive results and to lead us. We're starting to hit a phase where we're really learning, but up until this point, we were kind of trying to build the plane as we fly it. And so those that take initiative, who are really trying to drive results, we gravitate towards, because out of necessity, to be completely honest, because we're trying to solve something that hasn't been solved before. And so since there's such a plethora of things we're trying to tackle across product lines and evolving products and evolving industry trends, those that take an interest in a particular issue and drive results, those are people that, quite frankly, they move up the ranks and get promoted. I think there isn't one person at the organization that has been here for a long time that has been promoted probably several times that doesn't take initiative on a daily basis. The advice that I give somebody who would want to shift teams is to find a career track that provides accelerating value within the organization. If there's value that is growing, there's going to be opportunity, and there will be a greater piece of a pie for you to go tackle with that. But ultimately, to accelerate in a given role, you need to drive results through initiative. And for me, the only way that happens is if you're truly curious and excited about what you want to do. It's important to have that excitement and that curiosity to keep you going through the lulls. Our business it's constant, but also fairly cyclical as far as, there's long sprints followed by some jogging. And the only way to get through those periods of stress is to have something inside of you that really ignites your curiosity towards solving a problem. For me, I get really excited about new sales opportunities and new business opportunities. When those arise and there's not a clear solution, sometimes where we have to get creative with our messaging, or maybe we have to get a little creative on how we present our value proposition, or maybe it's even some of the solutions. Maybe it's even a little custom. Those are things that get me really excited because we get to really dig in and we get to resolve pain, right, for somebody, because ultimately we want folks to be happy and we do that through resolving pain. So I think it's a combination of finding value and what excites you. First one's hyphenated, values-based. I think we've had pretty consistent company values through the years, things that we feel confident in and we can always lean on, whether that's when we give somebody praise, when we have company-wide meetings, or when we face conflict or issues within the organization. We can always look at those as our kind of our North Star. Positive. I think everybody here has a bias towards being positive, which is fantastic. Sometimes we have to be a little bit more realistic, but being positive helps us maintain momentum through hard stretches. And last word is inclusive. We are intentional about the people that we hire, why we hire them, and how we build teams and culture. I think that we do an excellent job of listening to different points of views and bringing in folks from all different backgrounds and areas and expertise to drive our culture forward.